let's attack moderate number 8 here. Quite a few 9s available. Let's see if it actually gives us any real good intel though. No, it's being tricky. Look at this. These 2 columns are blocked. So this one has to be in this column, but we don't know which. This is columns blocked. This row is blocked. So it has to be one of these 2. These 2 rows are blocked, so it has to be one of these 2. So all of those 9s gave us a lot of note taking, not a single actual placement though. The 8s look like they're going to be kind of a pain too. Oh, here's the key. That blocks that row, that blocks that column. There's our 8. Now, those 2 rows will block, this column will block, and there's our 8. And these 2 rows will block, so our 8 is one of those 2. This column and this row are blocked, so it's one of those 2. These 2 columns are blocked, it's one of those 2. And there's our kind of 3-way matched set. Oh, the 7 blocks that row, so I can note take there. Now both of those rows are blocked, and I can note take there. Other than that, not a whole heaping lot. So moving on to the 6s, not a whole lot there either. All right, let's check out the 5s. These 2 columns are blocked, so this 5 is there. I don't know where this 5 is. It literally could be in any of those 4. However, since all 4 of those are in the middle or bottom row, and this is also in the middle or bottom row, what I do know is that this square has to have the 5 in the top row, and since that one's blocked, I can do that there. Now those 2 columns are taken, that row is taken, so there's the 5 there. Those 2 rows are taken, that column's taken. So this 5 is there, and if I put the 5s in here, which I won't because it just gets confusing, but if I did, you would see that therefore they're matching there on the 2 columns, and they're matching here on the 2 rows. So, all right, let's see what we've got for the 4s. That row and that row are a no, so there's the possible yeses. That row and that row are a no, so there's the possible yeses. Again, we have that situation. We have a left and middle, a left and middle. That means that the 3rd box, it has to be on the right. This one blocks that one, so the only one that's on the right and not blocked is there. That means these 2 rows are already blocked, so it has to be in this middle row, but that's a no, so there's the yes. The 3 here, this column and this row are blocked, so there's that 3. This row and this column are blocked, so there's that 3. Those 2 columns are blocked, so this 3 is in the bottom there somewhere. These 2 rows are blocked, as is this column, so that 3 is there. Now that blocks both of those, leaving that 3 there, and these 2 columns plus this row means that 3 is there, forcing that 3 to be there. The 2s, we've got those 2 columns blocked, so we'll note take on that. We have these 2 rows and this column blocked, so that one has to be there. Those 2 columns are blocked, so that has to be one of those 2, and this one has to be in the middle column, but we don't know which of the 3 it is. So likewise, these 2 columns are blocked, so this one has to be one of those 3. You know, this one has to be over there. That blocks this column, that blocks this row, so we know this one has to be in that row, which blocks that, and makes this one have to be in that row. Now that's useful because that is now the 1 and the 7, because both the 1 and the 7 have to be in those 2 squares. So the number that we're missing is what goes in the middle. We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, we're missing the 5. We've got the 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there's our 5, and that filled in quite a few spaces for us. Going to the 9s. Okay, the 9s are already noted and they are a matched set. No more information on them yet. The 8s. All right, so the 8 had to be here or here. Can't be there, gotta be there. Now that makes the 8 have to be here, and this 8 have to be here. This makes the 7 have to be there. This 7 has to be here because those are the only two open spaces. So those two columns are blocked out. That means the 7 has to be one of those two, and we now have a 2, 7 situation here. What that does is it tells us what two numbers are going to be in here, which has to be the 1 and the 6. In addition to that, it tells us that this has to be that 1 because there's no other place for that 1. We've got the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, and the 9. So this has to be the 1. We now know that that column and that column have 1s, so that has to be the 1, which now that column, and that row have a 1, so that has to be the 1. And this one has to be in one of those two spots. This one is blocked here, it has to be in one of those 3 spots. I notate it so that you can see that this one has to be in the left or middle, as does this, which means this one has to be in the right. Okay. Remember over here I said this has to be the 2 and the 7, so this had to be the 1 and the 6. Well, if that's the 1, this must be the 6, and that puts that 6 there, that 6 there. This 6, it blocks that column, this 6 blocks that row, so that 6 goes there, and this 6 is forced to be one of those in that column. These 2 rows block that out, so this 6 has to be on one of those 2. And this 6 needs to be here or here because it cannot be there. All right, let's see, did we have anything else with the 7? Not really yet. Let's check out the 4. That's still just a matched set. The 2, so now the 2's down because we have those columns blocked out. This 2 has to be there. That one's blocked, that one's blocked, that's the 2. Now that one's blocked and that's the 2. See if we've got any more on the 1s. We do not, so we're going to go right back to the 9s. That's blocked, so that's the 9. That just blocked that, and this was already blocked, so that's the 9, and that blocks that and that, so that's the 9. To the 7, last one, that's definitely my 7. Last one, that's my 7. That blocked that, so that's my 7, which blocks that entire column, making that my 7. Up here, this one's blocked, so one of these 2 is my 7. I now have a 6 and 7 situation there, which means the 4 cannot be there, it has to be there. And these 2 are blocked, so there's my 4 there. Okay, I'm going to go back to my 7s, see if I had any other info on 7s. That 7 blocks there, so this 7's here, which blocked there. Yes, no, yes. To the 6s, last one, blocked, yes, and the 1s are all that is left.